The Isaiah Factor Uncensored starts right now.
All I can do right now is cry. I just lost my son, my oldest son. He's 17 years old. He's not even grown yet. He don't have no kids. He didn't even live life. He was an awesome kind of person. You know, he was smart. He was athletic. He loved me. He helped me with everything. Like, he was an awesome person. And he did not deserve to die this young. I wish he never would have. Oh, my goodness.
Such a sad story. That is Ladrea Lamon, the mother of 17-year-old Andrell Whitelow, who was killed yesterday during a shooting at a convenience store. Now, police say the teen tried to stop 47-year-old Al Vernon Brown from possibly robbing a store on Scott Street. Brown was also holding at least 8 people hostage at gunpoint inside the store in Southeast Houston. Now, investigators say Whitelow, the teen, saw what was going on from outside of the store. He went in with his own gun and demanded Brown release the people. That's when police say Brown, who had 2 guns on him, shot and killed the 17-year-old Good Samaritan. Brown was arrested and charged with murder. Now, this was a case, according to police, of a young man with a gun trying to save lives. But unfortunately, sometimes being the Good Samaritan can backfire like it did with Andrell Whitelow. That leads us to the tough conversation. When should we pick up a gun and intervene? We talk about it tonight.
And our guests are here on The Factor Uncensored to talk about this sad situation here in the Houston area. Georgia Brego, who is with HTX Tactical, and State Representative Ron Reynolds. First of all, we just want to send our condolences out to the family of this 17-year-old. We have already reported that he tried to stop at least 8 people in a convenience store from being victimized by a gun-carrying criminal out there. He tried to intervene and was shot and killed. State Representative Reynolds, obviously, constitutional carry is an issue here in Texas. More people are able to walk around with guns, and I think a lot of people think they can intervene, and they want to be a hero. They want to do the best for their community, but unfortunately, sometimes it ends up this way where a 17-year-old is shot and killed.
Well, Isaiah, you're exactly right. And I, too, give my condolences to the deceased family members. And it seems like he was an upstanding person trying to be a hero, trying to step in and take charge of a situation that normally a law enforcement, someone who has training, would do. This is a particular issue with this new law because people are going to be able to have access to guns. And I'm not being overbroad or anything, but just hypothetically, this person could have had no training. I don't know if he did or not. He could have had no time at a gun range, no kind of training, nothing. But being 21 years of age, and actually this guy wasn't, so he shouldn't have even had a gun. But the bottom line is this: it is a fact for me talking to law enforcement officers, HPD, sheriffs, others who are trained. They say that no one should be carrying a gun that doesn't have adequate training, whether it's through a law enforcement or through someone who is a professional like George that can show them how to use the gun safely. They can have some time to shoot. It's like giving a person keys to their car because they're 16 years of age and says, "Hey, just go drive, son. You made it." No, you need training. You need to get acclimated with being behind the wheel and the do's and don'ts. So this is a tragic situation that probably could have been prevented. And I think that we need to revisit this law before we have more incidents like this in the future.
George, do you think it's possible that constitutional carry will give people a false sense of security and try to intervene into crimes like this with deadly results?
No, I think it's definitely a possibility. In this certain situation, I personally don't believe that constitutional carry played into it. Let me explain gun laws.
And we want to also be clear, we're not specifically talking about this kid. We're saying others who could take action like this in the future when they want to intervene and stop a crime, and they're not prepared to run into a store and face a guy who has 2 pistols on him and who's not afraid to shoot and kill you.
Right. So I do believe that there's definitely a possibility. Again, training. The young man was 17 years old. I seriously doubt he had any type of training with the firearm. Now in Texas, a 17-year-old can legally possess a handgun. They can legally possess a handgun in Texas, as I said, 17-year-old. Texas doesn't regulate possession of a handgun. They do regulate purchase and acquiring a handgun. So how the 17-year-old got the handgun, I don't know. But in Texas, a parent can legally give their 17-year-old a handgun with written consent. So he may have been legally in possession of that handgun. I don't know. We don't know. I haven't read an article that says anything of how he got it. Obviously, he went in there about it the wrong way.
But his intentions were good. He wanted to help those people, you know.
Oh, great intentions. I mean, yeah. I commend him for that. There's no arguing that. Great intentions to help out the people that were in there that were getting robbed. Unfortunately, it didn't turn out well for anybody. Again, training. I do believe that there has to be more emphasis on training overall.
Representative Reynolds, go ahead.
Can I just ask this, George? Don't you think it's true that anybody operating a gun that's a lethal weapon, they should have some basic minimum training, and they should understand how to use a gun and be able to perform some type of, doesn't have to be a bullseye, but some type of proficiency, have some gun range, time on the range or something, minimal. Don't you believe that?
I definitely believe it's needed for anybody. Right. Whether you're an avid shooter or not, I do believe you need to learn your weapon and learn your firearm, learn the ins and outs, learn how to take care of it, learn what it's capable of. Now, if you're referencing that into some type of legal requirement, I would have to say, no, I don't believe it's legally required. I feel that the Second Amendment gives us access to firearms, whether they're for protection from others or protection from government.
But if I don't know how to use a gun and I have one, how is that really protection? That goes to the issue that Isaiah is talking about today. I got a gun. I've never been trained on the gun. I just got it. I can shoot the wrong person because I have no aim. I have no proficiency. So how is that really protection? It's false sense of protection, really.
I wouldn't say that it's a false sense of protection. A gun is a tool. A gun is a tool. It's no more different than a knife, than a pocket knife you may be carrying in your pocket. I carry a knife every day. Tons of people carry a knife along with a firearm. A knife is just as deadly as a firearm. Knife in the wrong hands will kill just as many people with firearm. Look at China. Knife attacks are very common in China. Obviously, they don't have firearms. Their government took those away a long time ago. So they're going around stabbing and having, they're going around being stabbed. People are going crazy and stabbing everybody. A bad guy's going to find a way to kill somebody when he wants to kill somebody.
All right, gentlemen, we want to thank you. And once again, we want to emphasize that we're not blaming this 17-year-old. He tried to do the right thing. He tried to intervene and help the 8 people who were held hostage by this individual who had guns on them. Unfortunately, the 17-year-old was shot and killed in this case. And once again, we want to send our prayers and condolences to his family, and we would love to hear from his family. He tried to make a difference in this community. Unfortunately, it just did not work out. Gentlemen, thank you all for joining us here on The Factor Uncensored.
Thanks, Ajay. Thanks.
And of course, his mother told Fox 26 that she moved her boys away from Wisconsin to get away from violence. And this is what happens to her son in Houston. Sad situation.